I'm going. My mom is just like, go. That's all she said. My mom had no absolute reaction to it. I came home and I showed it to her. She was like, okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner. There's nothing else to it. While I'm still there, and my mom is like, do you want to eat dinner or do you want to eat the shoes? I'm like, fair enough. Fair enough. My mom is way too savage.
Yes, my people, big PROZECH back again. And you already know what it is, your sneaker and lifestyle podcast, Kicks Chronicles. And I'm here with another illustrious guest. Now, this is a young lady that I've come into contact with through going to various different events and just being part of the scene in the UK. When I joined the scene, you look around, you see who's rolling around with who, and you start seeing all the various different groups. And one of the more prominent groups in the UK is the Sneaker Sisterhood. Shout out to Jay, shout out to Julia, and all of the guys over there. You get me? They had their 5th year anniversary not too long ago, and in their celebration in their media and their publication, I could see her face, and it was a face that I recognized from some of the events. She's petite, but you know what I'm saying, she's got loads of personality, part of the Offspring community as well. I'm talking about the one and only Miss SHIVANI is in the building. What are you saying, man?
I'm good. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. All the better for having you being part of this. Thank you so much for honouring the invite. I have to tell everybody, SHIVANI is literally one of the nicest people I've ever had to get involved with in terms of the podcast. She's so nice. She's so nice. Like I'm saying it now. She might end up being a terror on the podcast, but she's been lovely so far. But yeah, no. Every time I've spoken to you, like we saw ourselves at the Lorenzo G drop that happened in January. You managed to get a pair.
Definitely, just like yourself. Yeah,
you get me. I managed to get a pair. I think you got yours signed, right?
Yeah,
at
I
least your
got
box.
my pair. Yeah, my box, my chocolate.
This is it. I remember you showing me a picture of you have the 95s signed as well. See, she's complete. She's got the whole thing signed. We love that. You get me? Yeah. So that was really cool getting a few minutes to sort of chop it up and stuff there. But you know what? People don't necessarily want to hear about me. They want to hear about you, SHIVANI. So let's get to the business, man. Let's go right back to the beginning. Talk to me about your first love. What was the shoe that you fell in love with? The shoe that sort of brought you into the game in terms of kicks?
Honestly, if I have to say, back at home in India, we didn't have a lot of hype pairs being released. I never knew about a lot of pairs apart from, like, let's say Flyknit, Huaraches, and like Ultra Boost and other Reebok or Puma pairs. I absolutely fell in love with the concept of shoes just by seeing them on people's feet, obviously reading online and whatnot. Never really had the access to purchase them, but I know whenever my parents were able to get me a pair of sneakers, it was just basic ones that I could just use for shoes, for football, or for any other sports I would go to play. But I remember having one of the classic Reeboks as my first pair because they were also one of the only affordable pairs that we were able to get in India. So you have to remember there's a lot of limitations. And also we don't have that lot of concept of like women pair and men pair. A lot of pairs I would usually have to go for is just to the unisex pairs that were coming out. I'm a UK 4.5 to 5. So you need to understand I always need to find pairs and different sort of models. If I can't find it in Huaraches, I need to go for a whole different model. But that's how I got started with, I think, going from Reebok all the way to Puma as well, because Puma is great for playing on the field. I can't lie. The grip on them is absolutely insane. And then moving on to obviously, definitely. And then you move on to like Nike Flyknits and Huaraches for hiking and whatnot. I think those are the pairs I can definitely say that I've grown to like them so much over time. I still have the pairs that I had 10 years ago still in my collection, and they're alive and well.
Nice. 10 years. That's solid. Yeah. That's solid. So you said a few pairs there. Huaraches were definitely prominent in there. Reebok classics as well, Pumas. I'm a big fan of the Reebok classic. Obviously, Huarache is a classic as well. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. You said you played football.
Yeah, I used to play in school as much as possible. I would try my hand at every other sports possible, and I would enjoy it because I used to like being out there and about. In India, it's always hot. So you're just out there on the field
You're
enjoying
outside.
30,
Yeah,
45 degrees. So I'm
that's
just like,
crazy.
yeah, might as well just enjoy it. So
Well,
yeah,
that's a great point. So you obviously grew up in India. Where in India did you grow up?
Mumbai.
Mumbai, Mumbai.
Yeah.
I recognize that. That's one of the larger cities.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Perfect, man. Perfect. So when did you come over to the UK?
I came over 7 years ago or so,
Hmm.
and then I've been there ever since. I think I found a sense of belonging within trying to collect sneakers. Before, when I was in India, I never had the opportunity to collect them. But when I
Hmm.
came to the UK, I saw a whole different world. And then I
Hmm.
realized that it's always okay to not sit at any table. You build your own table, you sit at it, and people are welcome to sit with you as well. There's never the concept of fitting somewhere was so much so heavily influenced me back at home that sort of changed me when I became self-independent over time in the UK. And I think somewhere my sneakers gave me the confidence to do so as well. So that's why I like the aspect of being able to be in the UK, collect my sneakers the way I want. And literally, it's a game of luck, right? You enter a raffle. If you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. It's as easy
Facts.
as that. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like enjoying the game as it goes on. And it's been a fun journey, I can't lie.
Nice. Nice. That's very, very cool. That's very, very cool. I think what I need to understand from like your perspective, obviously, what are the massive differences between sort of India and the UK, in terms of like apart from the weather and probably the food, if I'm yeah.
Definitely. To get that. I think the few things that I can point out is definitely the huge difference that we have in terms of how community is defined, especially for sneaker or streetwear back at home compared to here in the UK. It's it's a whole new level. You would not see that. And I think my friends and myself, we have seen it very closely in India. It's like if you're not wearing a hype item or something branded out there and about, you can't be a part of the community. That's how India was. But that's also not really the community that I wanted to be a part of, where you are pushed away or not allowed to
Mm.
enter just because you come from a certain class of family. Being that,
Wow.
so that I know, I think maybe I faced that and I understood it, but I'm also a girl and didn't really had a lot of opportunities to be a part. Every time I tried to, I felt like I was being pushed away. When I came to the UK, I feel a whole different sense of belonging. Everyone is so welcoming, kind, and warm. But I obviously know that the sneaker culture and the community has evolved over time back at home. But I'm not that much in touch with it as much as I'm in touch
Hmm.
with the UK one. Ever since knowing that there's a huge difference into what gets released in India to what gets released in the UK, I was absolutely shocked. You guys have Bathing Ape, so many other big brands, and then there is India. While we're still growing, our economy's genuinely boosting and whatnot, but we still don't have a lot of things that we have there. We don't have raffle entries here. We don't have a lot of
Hmm.
shoes released here. Example, the band pair just came out, right?
Hmm.
It's released everywhere. I didn't see it anywhere in India, as far as I can tell you. But what I did see was the black toes drop. It's saying, I think, there are certain pairs that Nike would release in India, but only in certain places, but not everywhere.
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
makes it that aspect of, you see, Asia, it's so big. Hong Kong gets stuff. Singapore
Hmm.
gets stuff. Why not
Hmm.
India? Like, what's holding such big brands back when it comes to the aspect of pushing more products in such market? Because there are consumers. My friend back at home, like, if Harman and I were there, and Harman, he still lives in India, he would 100% queue up. It would be an absolute offspring type of like collection day and etc. If obviously the retailers were able to do the same here if Nike did bring the products. We never got Travis's. We don't have all the big pairs that
Wow.
you guys talk. Kids of immigrant? No, sorry guys. So there's a huge difference when you see. So the two thing I can point out is obviously the way the culture and the community work. Also the way brands decides to release their shoes, even if it's like an Adidas collaboration, New Balance and
Hmm.
whatnot. We don't
Hmm.
have that sort of a thing back at home. Maybe you just think that we do not have that sort of exposure yet, and they're not been able to give us that sort of access. But they don't know there are people who are hungry for that type of access.
Do you know what? Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, no,
Because
no.
not so long ago, I had Raf from My Soul's Fly, and he was explaining something similar about Africa, in the sense that there's a sort of a growing sneaker community in Africa, in Ghana, Nigeria, West Africa, South Africa, and across Africa, and I imagine it's very similar in Asia, and specifically in India, but brands are not going there, and they don't have access to the sneakers app or the confirmed app, and they don't have access to these sort of fairly limited pairs at all. They're not on the list in terms of distribution, and it's a shame because you can imagine there are thousands, if not, I'd imagine even maybe
Mhm.
impossibly, given the population of India, maybe even millions of
Mhm.
people that would be interested in some of these pairs. So there is definitely opportunity there. I suppose it's for the brand to understand sort of what that opportunity really is and whether they have an appetite for that. And it seems in a lot of cases, it doesn't seem like they've got the appetite, which is really weird considering the amount of people and the amount of sort of hunger for the products. Yeah, it's really really interesting. Um, maybe I mean I've spoken to Raf about these things in terms of Africa, and recently there was a an activation, a Ghanaian inspired activation with Nike. I want to say it was the Kids of Freedom. Let me give me a second, and I can
Mhm.
find the name. Free the Youth is what they were called. Free the Youth. Their collaboration with Jordan Brand, and they did an activation in Brixton very recently. And I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. And I could imagine there are just as many people in India and Asia that have a similar story and have the similar level of hunger to be involved in an activation or to be involved in some sort of way with brands like Jordan and Nike. I suppose what it comes down to is somebody there having the vision to create something that enables a Nike or a brand like Jordan brand the inroad, like via them we can get into this market and maybe then dip their toe, and they don't have to go full fledged, they can sort of do it through this group of people. um are there any sort of, because over here we've got, obviously we've got the Offspring community, we've got Sneaker Sisterhood, we've got what else do we have? I think we've got like the Real Soul family, My Soul's
Oh,
Flies.
yes.
There's so
Yes.
many different groups. Are there any specific groups in India?
Not that I know of, or I'm a part of it, to be really fair. I know there were a couple back like 10 years ago or so, but they were all just for people who were like, how to say, just, if you have a lot of money to spend and you can wear really flashy clothes and really nice shoe that recently out released, people love that one up on other people. I think I saw that from a young age, but I never really
Mm,
comprehended the concept of it. If you get something that's released in the market before everyone else and you wear it, you come off as like a higher status person. And that's
wow.
something that I was like, wow, I didn't realize it. But then there's also this other case of we have many celebrities in India
Hmm.
who have insane collection of sneakers. And that's how the public actually sees those sneakers. And that is when
Interesting.
people search. And that's how resellers then sell it to the normal consumer because that shoe has never been released, right? It's a great marketing concept as well, I can't lie. But that is how the shoe also starts getting popular because we have so many paparazzi and whatnot that follows every single like celebrity or whatnot. They have like a big collection. You would see them wear one shoe every single day or every single like let's say half of a day or whatsoever, and they can change it around and you see them with a new shoe. People will hop onto it immediately, and you will see people in India then starting to like, it's a trend. When we see a celebrity wear a certain shoe, we would sort of want to wear it as well. We would search for it. If we can't find it, we reach out to people who might be able to get it for us.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then
Do you think?
reselling market, like, oh yeah, sorry.
Oh no, no, go ahead, please.
So yeah, that's why I think reselling market is what is really sort of big in India, rather than the brands pushing themselves in India and like diversifying. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Do you think those celebrities are getting pairs seeded from Nike, or do you think that they're buying them abroad and getting them in like
I
via maybe like StockX or Go, or don't know what other brands come into to India? Do you think that's how they're doing it, or do you think they're getting them direct from Nike and just using them sort of to publicize the shoes?
I think it's a mixture of both. I can't lie, but I
Probably.
also know
Yeah.
a lot of celebrities do go with their families or whatnot to like trips, and they can just grab a pair because getting a pair of Air Max Sparta, let's say, for example, the orange pair, like the one I have behind me right now, it's easily you can easily get it in a European country if it was sitting in smaller sizes just on the shelf, rather than getting it in a place like India when it was never released. You just
Hmm.
get it, you wear it, the audience sees it, and then that is when the trend starts. You're practically a trendsetter. It's not what TikTok gives or what like other apps give. It's like what we really see on these celebrities' feed because celebrities do heavily influence the streetwear culture back at home.
That's very, very interesting. Hi there. So nice to see you. Sorry to interrupt the pod. I'll be literally 30 seconds. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And also, if you enjoy the pod, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help. Also, if you're listening on an audio platform, feel free to give us a review, whether it be positive or negative. Just leave a review. We really, really appreciate it. Also, feel free to listen to our old episodes. And if you ever want to get in contact, if you want to let me know what you're thinking, feeling, or whatever, holler at me. My name is PROZECH. PROZECH on all social media: Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm enjoying TikTok at the moment, so feel free to holler at me. I will always holler back. And with all that being said, I'll let you get back to the pod. Toodles. I mean, talk to me about sort of what was popular in your area growing up. You told me sort of what you like to wear, but when you were growing up, when you look back in your mind's eye, what? How old are you, by the way? I mean, this doesn't
Um,
have to go on. You
oh no,
look
that's
quite
not.
young.
I'm 24.
Yeah, you're super young. So, like, even 7 years ago, you were kind of still like, what, 7 years ago, you're only like 18, 17,
18.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
correct. Yeah,
So, like, you must have come here for like university or for studying or something, right?
yeah, that's
So,
correct.
where did you study?
Me, I studied in one of the London universities and I did my undergrad and then obviously
So
got along.
you were in London. You were in London.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we know what was popping off in London. But like when you like, what was popular when you were sort of growing up? Let's say in India, what was the popular shoes that you used to see a lot of people wear, or maybe just like the celebrities wear, or whoever? Like, what was the shoes that you just saw a lot of on the street?
I can't lie, I've seen a lot of people with Hoka, but I never really realized the power of that brand back at home.
Really?
It's one of those brands that is so underrated that for me, I was like, oh, I don't see the people of like my age wearing it. I don't want to wear it. Does that make sense? But reality is that has always been the staple comfort pair around the world. No wonder Hoka is so popping right now because that's something I've noticed and I've seen it, but I never really ticked off because I always used to think I was like, oh no, maybe it's just like one of those Indian brands, that's coming off or whatsoever. But no, it was actually Hoka. I think it took me a year or two to really realize like that is how the brand is and that's how they have like different shoes. And I saw mostly older people, but also like people who would go around for running and jogging and like keeping up
Yeah,
with their
yeah,
health and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? But also really athletic people just wear it around my city. And that's something that really tipped off to me. And the other one was obviously Reebok, but we had many different versions, including the chunky Reebok that I would see people wearing it. And I would really like it because people would make that shoe sit into their wardrobe in the most funkiest manner. And I absolutely loved it.
That's nuts, man. That is actually Hoka is so wild to me. But like we can't act like they're not becoming super popular.
I agree.
Like they are becoming super. I even saw very recently, they're coming out with because you know that New Balance have that I think it's the 1906L
Yeah.
the loafer, right?
Yeah.
Um, they actually so Hoka have a loafer. I don't know whether it's come out or just come out. It's called the Speed, I think it's called,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a tassel or like a toggle, and it
On
kind
the
of
front. Yeah.
reminds me of it kind of reminds me of a tassel loafer, and it's like that's kind of a vibe. It's very interesting, a little bit different. I'd imagine it's very comfortable. So Hoka are
Mm-hmm.
definitely doing their thing. Interesting that like growing up because 7 years ago, I did not know Hoka. I've not even
Mhm.
heard of them as a brand. Yeah, not even heard of them as a brand. I've only
Right.
become aware of them, and that's because of the popularity of runners, right, in the
Mhm.
last sort of 3-4 years, maybe even 4-5 years. It might be a
Mhm.
bit more than that, but like very recently in terms of the sneaker scene. And to me, they're a purely functional brand in terms of running and sort of activity, right? That's where they sit. Them, Brooks, who else? On To me, I know some people will wear them casually, but to me, they're functional brands. They're specific for running, and if you wear them for running, I get it. But if you wear them casually, I'm like, I'm not there yet. I don't know enough about the brand. It's so interesting that you're saying, yeah, man, that brand was everywhere. It was
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's one of those weird things, right? I don't know if we ever had a Hoka store here or not. As far as I know, I never saw one. But when I used to see people wearing, I was like, it's crazy because I'm seeing that more on the feet rather than Nike models.
Wow.
Maybe it's
That's
just
so nuts
me,
to me.
but to me, I was just like, that's crazy because it's also one of those things. It's at the time that I think Adidas Superstar came out or was just about to come out and it was popping in that colorway. Everybody wanted their hands on it. And I remember for a couple of months, I was not able to get it in India. And then I
Mm.
saw, while I was still wanting to go make an attempt at every Adidas store, maybe try to get it, whatnot, I would still see people wear Hoka. And I was just like, yeah, the brand is very much alive. It's not going to die anytime soon. So,
Hoka
hey,
is on fire in
definitely,
India,
yeah.
man. Okay, respect to Hoka, man, doing their
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're gonna do right now?
Yes.
We have a community question. Considering you are a woman of the community, right? I think that's easily something we can say. Sneaker sisterhood community, Offspring
Yeah.
community, the sneaker community at large. Now we're talking about the Kicks Chronicles community question, right? And this week's question comes from once again somebody that I met at the Lorenzo G
Mm.
um, drop. Shout out to Nicole. Her name on Instagram is McEwen Nicole, right? McEwen Nicole. Um, Her question is, what pair are you most excited for this year and why? And I will answer the question as well, but I'll let you go first.
I think it's such an interesting question. I can't lie. I've been on it for so long. I honestly, I really want the Air Jordan 1 Unions.
Mm.
They are one of my grill pairs. The
So
fact
which
that they're
one are you
coming
talking
out,
about? Are you talking
the
about the
new one.
Chicago? The
Yes.
Chicago as a Chicago player. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
The fact
Interesting.
that they're coming out. And then we just saw last week, I think in the friends and family one, the UNC almost colorway. Oh my goodness, I need to be studied for the way how obsessed I am with them because the material on them looks insane. I do not think Air Jordan 1s coming out lately are going to match that quality. The fact that not just it's a collaborative pair, it's also that extra touch that the collaboration is so much, it's still very much alive from what it was when they started it. And the fact that
Mm.
they're giving us a different sort of like colorway, but it's still standing out in its own way. And the texture of the leather in the videos that I've seen and whatnot, I I would be more than happy to add them into my collections. And they're just very different from any Air Jordan ones I've seen. Even the Air Jordan one that Travis has bought, they're very different from it. I think this is where I see Travis Scott, and this is where I see the Unions when the Nike collaborated.
Ooh, I like that. I like
Because
that.
that's really me. You're buying something for the sake of hype. I'm buying something for the sake of, not for the sake of, because I respect the aspect of history. I love
Mm.
the material usage on it. I love that they're coming out with same sort of colorway but mix and matching it around to
Hmm.
giving it to their new audience. I wasn't able to get it like 10 years ago or whatsoever when they came out, right?
Yeah.
I was dumb kid. I really wish I knew. I would have actually flown to a different country to actually get it. Like, I swear to God, I love that collaboration a little bit too much. I have so much respect for Nike to be even able to pull it off and get it, because not only they've done it on an Air Jordan 1, but they've done it on different models as well, and giving it out there to your audience, people who know and respect the collaboration and what it really contributes, the history today, and what it will do for the culture for the next 50 years to 100 years, would know the value of the shoe. The resale market is not what sets the value for that shoe for me. It's totally the history aspect. So
I
that's
respect it.
personally me. So that's one of the pair I look forward to. Yeah.
That's a strong choice. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not critiquing your choice. I think that's a fair choice. It's a strong pair. The Union collabs historically are fire. I know that they're slated to be 2 Union collabs this year. I'm leaning more towards the latter pair that has the fragment element as well. But I think because the thing is, the Chicago Jordan 1 has been done fairly recently. Lost and Founds just over my shoulder.
Yeah.
So if you've got a pair of Lost and Founds, getting that sort of, I think they were calling them the Chicago or Chicago, because it's a shadow and a Chicago together. I can't remember what they were calling it, but yeah, getting that is kind of like maybe it's a bit too much, because you've kind of got 2 Jordan highs in a very similar colorway. Wearing your trousers over the shoe, you might not even see the shadow element of the shoe, which is the difference, right? Although they are a different texture, which I completely agree in terms of the materials. That being said, it's still a fire shoe. It's a very, very cool shoe, and it will be a hot ticket. For me, I think the shoe that I'm looking forward to the most, it's a tough one, to be honest. I think, it's a tough one. It's a real tough one, because there's a lot of pairs that I think are gonna be amazing. But a pair that's fairly nostalgic for me that is meant to be coming back this year, and I really want to get it. And I'm saying this apart from the band, because the band's already come out. And I was lucky enough to get a pair by grace of God. But and the Lorenzos, to be fair, because both of those have come out. So there's a couple killers that have come out already this year. So I should put a lot of respect on those. But beyond those, I would probably say the Gamma Blue Jordan 11s. Yeah, the Gamma Blue Jordan 11s, because the Jordan 11 growing up was my favorite Jordan. Even though, having grown up and tried to wear them, they're very difficult to wear, unfortunately, quite uncomfortable. But still, in terms of the aesthetic, I love the shoe. 2013, I did have the opportunity to buy a pair, and I didn't when they first dropped, and I regretted it ever since. So, and it's never come back out. So, it's over 10 years. I feel like it's a great opportunity. There are a lot of shoes coming out of the vault this year, but that's the most nostalgic to me. So I definitely want a pair of those if I can get them. There are other shoes on the list, though. Like, we could talk about the White Cement 4s. That's a definite cop. Yeah, it's a definite cop. Once again, I said the Union Fragment Jordan 1 collab, that's looking crazy. Nike SBs, the Nigel Sylvester Brick by Bricks.
Brick by Brick, yeah.
Yeah, Brick by Brick looks mad.
Nice.
That looks crazy. And like, I mean, you could start talking about the undefeated 4s potentially coming out. I think we got the foam posits as well. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening this year. And this is just what we know about. There may be loads of other things that we haven't even been told about, considering how Nike have been moving. So yeah, no, definitely a vibe. So that's an amazing question. Shout out to Nicole. I'll say her Instagram one more time. It is McKeown. I think that's how you say it, McKeown Nicole. On Instagram. Amazing question, Nicole. Shout out Nicole. I was in Nicole review on that fateful Saturday. And yeah, shout out to yourself, man, for coming up with an amazing question and supporting the pod. Once again, that's our Kicks Chronicles community question. Very, very cool. We're going to go into what I like to refer to as the EST of KIC, where we kind of talk about your collection a little bit, but we look at it in a different way. We look at the oldest, the newest, the rarest, the best, most comfortable, that kind of thing. So if I was to ask you, what is the oldest shoe in your collection, what would you say that is?
Definitely my fly nuts. I used to have my Reebok, but I'm pretty sure they are done and dusted, kept somewhere else and back at home in India. But definitely my Flynet. I also have my one of the first pairs I also remember that I was really hyped about, and I got it in India even before. So this is when Yeezys were also popping about in India, and I didn't realize they were getting released. But a lot of resellers and other people used to just queue up for like hours and hours, or like they would just pay extra to like stores, and just like like how we have like other stores in UK, we have stores like that in India, and people would just queue up or pay extra just to like get the pair first or whatsoever. Whenever I tried to do it, I always failed. Never got my size. Never had anything left. But the one pair I really got was the Fenty Puma red color.
Really?
I still have my box. I still have every single thing. What a beautiful pair. I will never get over it. You know, the exaggerated tongue. Rihanna really outdid herself with that. I have never seen a red pair so popping. I wore it everywhere. My mom would look at me like, oh, you are crazy. And when I tell you, an Indian mother would really give you the look for it. But genuinely, they were so beautiful. They were also one of the first pairs. I convinced my mom that I promise I will treat them so well and I'll keep them in the same condition. And I still have till date.
Good
That
stuff.
entire box, to just open it with like the tiny velvet bag that you also get with like Fenty written on it and whatnot. And just when you take out the pair, it gave me that feeling for the first time. I felt like this is what it feels like to really have a sneaker where you have to really like open it up and you get like that extra touch of it. The sponge material on it, insanely good. I have worn that shoe since day one, never got a shoe bite or whatsoever. Puma
Shoe
just
bite.
never stops
What's a
at
shoe bite?
I think we call it shoe bite. You know, when you get a little cuff around your toes or behind your
Wow,
feet.
is that what you
We
call
call
them? Yeah,
Yeah, we call them shoe
that's
bites.
very. Look how cute this is.
I thought, sorry. I know I say like this around with my friends back here as well, like with Mike and Joshua. I say the same thing. I'm like, what's a shoe bite? I was like, never mind. You guys call it breaking in. And I
Yeah.
didn't understand the concept of breaking in until I came there and I was collecting shoes. And for 2 years, I never knew like breaking in was like an actual thing that pure
Yeah,
sneakerheads used to do. So I was unconsciously doing it without
yeah,
knowing
yeah.
it.
You have
So
to
I
do
would,
it. Everyone does it without,
right.
whether you know it or you don't know it. You're doing it.
Yeah, so that was me. But I remember Puma being that shoe that never gave me any sort of like irritation or whatsoever. I felt like it molded
Nice.
around my feet from day one when I wore it, and I absolutely love it. The fact that you can wear it with the thin socks, the thick socks, you can wear it down, you can wear it up, a red bold color. Loved it. I think that shoe screams Rihanna, and yeah, it's
It's
insane. And I
popping.
was quite yeah. So
We
I was
like it.
happy I got it in my size as well because I wasn't sure I was gonna get it. Considering it was one of the first times I ever got a collaborative pair, I was like, maybe I will get it, maybe I won't. And then the one day I just got a call from the Puma store saying, hey, you put your name for this, right? We actually got it. I told my mom I'm going. My mom is just like, go. That's all she said. My mom had no absolute reaction to it. I came home and I showed it to her. She was like, okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner. There's nothing else to it. While I'm still there, and my mom is like, do you want to eat dinner or do you want to eat the shoes? I'm like, fair enough. Fair enough. My mom is way too savage with me. Like, honestly, when it comes to my shoes, my mom is like, you have so many shoes, you could rather sit and eat them if you don't want to eat food.
I hear,
That's how my
bro.
mom is.
I hear that. That's hilarious. Your mom sounds hilarious. That's very
Yeah.
funny, man. But no, that's cool, man. I mean, yeah, I strung a red pair. Like one of my old. I mean, I think my all-time sort of grill pair. I think is the Red October from Yeezy. Like, so when I see an all red pair, it just gives me that vibe. Like the all red everything, it just works. Like, and the interesting thing about when you've got an all red pair is you don't have to match it. you can kind of just
Exactly.
do whatever you want to do because it just pops on its own. It just does its thing, which is always cool as well. So yeah, no, that's a very cool pair. That's a cool pair to hold on to. Rihanna's done her thing with Puma. She breathed a lot of life into Puma
Yeah.
in terms of their sneakers as well. So big up to Rihanna for doing their thing, man. Okay, so that's the oldest. What's the newest?
Oh, I told myself I don't want to buy any more shoes. I wanted to wait until 7. I think it's been a heavy month ever since. Okay, we're definitely something up there and about, and I
Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.